Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video, we're going to be reviewing a Grandmaster game. So let's start.
This game was between Garry Kasparov and Veselin Topalov. It took place in 1999 in Wykenze. We have the perk defense, the main line. So white develops and has like a space advantage, but black is going to strike back in the center with some e5 pawn breaks in the future. Normal moves. So his plan with c6 is to go with b5. What do you think white should do here?
I think that they might develop their bishop or knight.
So knight f3.
Yeah.
This isn't what he played in the game. He played f3, solidifying the e4 pawn. Now b5. This is like kind of a rare variation. It only has 491 games. We have knight g2. So if this were a King's Indian, like d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, like this, it's kind of like a similar structure, like this. And
You see that there's like so many lines that
this
have
is
like
the same-ish. And it's like kind of similar to this line, except there's like a few differences. The knight goes to e2, and the point is that this white king is going to castle queenside. So you like these f5 pawn breaks aren't as effective when you like play like the same way, like this, like say this. If you play like the same way, this is not really.
And you see that like white has like the center and they're pushing with like the pawn chain that they have.
Yeah, and f5 is kind of like, so it's not as effective because if you play the same exact way.
So they move their knight back so they can go to f5. So that's why they did that. To get your pieces to better squares. This is what the opening is about.
Yeah, so that's why this line is very interesting. We have this move, trading off the bishops.
And so like the bishop is like if you develop your bishop there, the black bishop there, then it's the defender of the king. And like white's trying to remove it if they take, and their queen will be to an attacking square.
Yeah, so like if the king were castled, this is like a typical idea, queen d2, bishop h6, to remove this good defender. Sometimes there's
And
even
if
games where like people just like move it back, like say that like in the Sicilian Dragon, like a similar type of bishop.
and if the bishop is removed, then it will be weak a little bit if they castle to that side. There'll be not much protection.
Yeah, so this is like the line I'm talking about here. Like,
Who's a Sicilian?
So here we can just like search for there's this good game here where in this line the the black side sacrifices an exchange in order to have like the bishop open. Like you can look up this Veselin game. So yeah. So in the real game here, black played bishop b7, which isn't that common. And black wants to eventually go maybe like some pawn break in the future. So we have a3, stopping some b4 ideas in the future.
And like maybe like a3 because maybe white wants to attack from that side, like the queen side. So
Yeah, so black makes this pawn break with e5 to fight back for the center. White just castles to the queen side. Queen e7, king b1. Just this is like a general move that you play if you castle queen side. So he maneuvers his pieces around, like brings
to get the bishop out, the white bishop.
yeah, and he wants to go knight to b3 and maybe sometime knight a5.
Like trying to get the pieces closer because they didn't want to castle to the king side. I don't think they could, so that's why.
So rook takes d4. Now Topalov went c5.
And then rook d1, moving the rook back.
Knight to b6. So g3.
Like maybe like going with the bishop check. So that's why they moved their king. That's maybe why.
So white is thinking about taking this bishop.
Which is
So
the defender of the king. So
yeah.
so if
So
you move that defender, then trying to make their position even more weaker.
so black can go d5 here, which is pretty strong because you're striking in the center. And if you
And
go
trying
knight
to push,
7,
like trying to push their pawns through, trying to get some play.
you can't go queen b7 because this knight is loose.
Yeah, so if you take with the queen, then there'll be a fork. So that's why they'll take with their king. So now white takes a pawn. And then they took with their knight.
Is really strong.
Yeah. Knight's in the center, good.
And in this line, black is slightly better. Like maybe here, if white plays something different, like this, which is not a very good move because of f4, f5, and if we move the knight, we allow a tactic. Can you spot it?
So
You can do,
yeah, I think I do.
okay, so
Yeah.
say here, you can go here, and this is just very good for black.
Yeah.
So there's also like this move, but this is like equal. If you take, it's guarded.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but then I
But
saw,
this is still winning because of 94 here.
and you see like the pawns like there, like in that position, like it wasn't that well guarded.
This knight is
They
very
played
important.
c4. So they played c4 trying to like
No,
kick.
just play c4. This is just like a
Oh,
line. So if 93, these knights are just like really good. Like the best white can do here is just give up the rook now, which is just not very
and
good.
they feel like the queen is on the other side of where the king is. The the white queen is on the other side of the black king.
Yeah, so they played bishop a8, bishop to h3.
Trying to develop their bishop because it wasn't developed yet.
Ideas of like d5.
And queen f4 trying to get the queen back in the game.
So he put the rook on this file, anticipating that it could like open up. Now knight to d5. The computer gets very confused here. It's a
And
very
it's also
complex.
saying that knight to d5 is an inaccuracy.
Yeah, but I don't think the computer really understands like this here. Rook takes.
So you see so like when you take the pawn, it's also the rook is attacking the queen in that position. Like I think it was like yeah, in that position, the rook was attacking the queen. So that's why the bishop couldn't take the pawn because the queen was attacked. So they had to save their queen.
Yeah, so after rook d4, okay, what happens if you take it? Rook to e7 check. Okay, so you're just like tossing all your pieces. What's the point? Okay, so if you go queen e7, there's a mate in 4. Can you find it?
I think it's like queen takes and then king. Then queen. I don't know what square it is, but it's checking the king. Yeah,
Queen b6.
yeah, queen
And
b6.
then after this, we have knight c6. So bishop b7, knight c6, king e8, queen a7. And it's important that here, this bishop, even though it looks like it's not doing anything, it's
It's
control.
actually guarding that square.
Yeah.
So that's why it's helpful in attack.
So yeah, the computer thinks it's like black is crushing until it sees rook e7, and then it goes, Okay, then it's equal. So king
So
b6.
that's why they didn't take.
Yeah. So now queen d4, giving up the knight. And
So
now,
they're trying to sacrifice in order to like get better position.
yeah, the king is kind of open. Like, it has to walk all the way down. There's only one good move here. Pause the video.
And try to find it out. And then come back when you think you have an answer.
It's a pretty
So,
simple move. Okay. Pawn to b4. So the problem with all these other moves is that, like, if you go here, the king is just going to go back and you're completely lost.
and like when you did that check, it's like a king hunt, like trying to get the king to your side so that you can checkmate maybe in the future.
Yeah, so here the defense is giving up this knight.
And the king can't go back because of the rook.
Here, this is just um this is just better for black.
Because they get to move their queen, so.
And now you have to play bishop to c6. And if you take, the rook activates with check. And now it's all over after queen to b2 and rook to d2. White is up a pawn and will go on to win this game. Like this.
And then they can take. Rook takes.
But these rooks are very active and they're boxing the king. So if you go super greedy, you have to go king b2 to stop this. And now we can check. And when you go back, this is like a line here. The rooks coordinate.
And threatening the checkmate.
Creating left. But this position is already very good for.
Left is like creating space so that you won't be checkmated. It usually helps with like back rank checkmate.
And now you can just take and just simply winning endgame.
Yeah. So let's go back to that.
This didn't happen in the game. We had pawn to b4.
Bringing the king closer.
The only move. Okay, so once again, you can pause the video if you want to find the move here that Garry Kasparov played.
And then come back when you think you have an answer. Or if you don't know, we can still help yourself.
Queen to c3. So the idea is we're going to go to b3. And if you take here, we can just go rook to a7.
Threatening the other. Checkmate. So you play rook takes b7. So if the queen takes, like if but it won't be good because there'll be the checkmate. So they played queen to c4, and yeah, so then they took queen takes f6,
And
and
now he played
it's a
king
blunder.
It
Because
does look like a blunder at first glance, but there's this move c3. It's very clever. So if you go queen c3, then we could go queen b5, and you're getting checkmated. So if you go king c5, we just go rook c7.
and like when you move, you can get the and now
Yeah,
you get
this
the
is just
pawn.
winning.
So yeah.
So I'm sure he trusted Garry to win this position because it's just winning. So he didn't go for that. So he took this king has gone all the way,
From their side to white
but
side.
the journey still isn't over. So queen to a1 only move because if you give some other checks, then black trades queens and is perfectly fine. It is just winning. You have to play queen a1.
And if you let them trade the queen, it's like letting them equalize.
It's not letting them equalize. It's like they're up 3. Like here, there's a this is just like a winning position for black. These pieces can get active, and the king can easily escape all the checks. So the king goes further. Best move. Now queen to b2. The king has gone from e8 all the way down to d1. I guess it was like this.
Okay, so then
Yeah, and now bishop to f1. An incredible amount of calculation because if you take, we have queen to c2, and the rook is able to go to e7. The queen seals off the second rank.
yeah, and there's like so many checkmates that black has to avoid. Has to try to avoid.
Yeah, so all these lines are like forced. There's not like he could do anything better. Rook to d2. The point is, if you go bishop to c4, then just trading in black is fine. So rook to d7. The rook is pinned.
So they can't take our queen.
So they have to take here, otherwise it would be checkmate. So now takes. And now this h8 rook hangs, and he uses this material to get to a winning position. And after this move, queen to a7, black resigned with all these things coming in like queen h7.
And this game's like how to create your plan. Like even if it's not like right away, it's like slowly graduating to that position.
yeah, so this is like the
And also in chess, you want to find like what your opponent might do and how you might want to try to stop that. So not only your moves, but also your opponent's moves, and looking for the checkmates, and that's
yeah. And both sides played a pretty good game. If you can see the caps here, it's 98.5 for Garry and 97.7 for Veselin, which is a pretty good score.
and it's really good to analyze your games if you can find like from grandmasters like what you can learn, and that's why we did this today, and it was really fun because we got to learn something new. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to others. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!